Hey, what is up, everybody? This is the Great Puckatini, and what I got for today is I'm going to be checking out all these official visits Arkansas Razorbacks hosted. They started off this past Friday, and I think a lot of them were Friday, maybe yesterday. Today's Sunday when I'm recording this. Sunday, what is this? May the 30th, somewhere in there. Where's my phone at? Anyway, I can't even see the date. But anyway, this is Sunday around May 30th or 31st, I believe it is. But anyway, a lot of these visits have happened, like I said, on Friday, and some may have happened Saturday. But anyway, they hosted a bunch of players, and I'm gonna have I don't have video breakdowns on these guys. I wait till they commit, and then I do a video breakdown. Now, some of these guys I do have video breakdowns already. But they hosted like I think 14, 13 guys, something like that. Hosted a bunch, and this is the first of 4 weekends that they can have these official visits. They're coming off a dead period, I believe. And but anyway, first off, I was going to show you before I get into this. I'm going to show you who they have already right here have committed, and I've got video breakdowns on all of these, and I believe this is, and I just have them linked to 247 Sports, so I can get to them quick if I want to do something else. But anyway, so we have at wide receiver, we have Darian Mosley, and then offensive guards, we have interior offensive line, we have Ororu, we have Frazier, and then Sturdivant. Those guys have committed. And then at halfback, we have Jeremiah Dent. He was actually visiting again this weekend. And then we have Eli Thornton, the big defensive tackle, Will Caston at linebacker, and then Zacharias Huzzy, corner. And I think that's 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think that's 8. And I heard they had 9 committed. I don't know who's the 9th guy. Who am I missing here? Is it the punter? Or they did have the tight end that was committed, but I thought he decommitted, and now he's going to be going to Oregon. Is that correct? I don't know. So y'all help me out if you're watching this. I have 8 on there, and I think that tight end might have been the one that was the 9th, but he's now he's decommitted, and I think he's committed to Oregon. And I saw somewhere he was going to visit Friday this weekend, but I don't think he did. I don't know. It's hard to nail this stuff down for sure. And but anyway, I want to show you that we do have these 8 guys committed for sure. So just keep that in mind a little bit. Wide receiver, interior offensive line, we're after them big. Remember we had a big recruiting haul this in 2026 for the several defensive linemen. So now we're hitting the offensive line hard, but now we have Eli Thornton. He's a heck of a player. Then we have one defensive lineman that visited Friday as well. So we'll get into that. So let's check it out here. And I don't have any video. Right here's where I want to go, I think. This is different from what I usually do, so kind of bear with me. Hopefully we can figure it out. So anyway, and these are some of the names, Starling, Hill, Mays, McDonald, and Goggins on that. And I have Ryan Silverfield here saying we're looking for hogs, and we are, man. And they invited a pretty good-looking crew. And everything I've seen, I've been watching X. These guys said they had great visits. I have not heard any commitments yet, but Arkansas may not want them to commit. I don't know. They may want them to wait. But this is their first visit of 4 in a row, I think. 4 weekends in a row they can have visitors. And so everything sounded really good that I've heard so far. So let's go through here and I'll kind of break this down. And I went with a different view. I'm playing with these different setups here that I have. And anyway, so this is Hogs Hit Visit Week. And it's what we're watching is Arkansas opens 4 straight official visit weekends in Fayetteville. And this is the first official weekend here they could have visitors. So this is Ryan Silverfield's first high school visit stretch. Starts with a skill-heavy group and several Arkansas leans. Now what that means is they say that a lot of these guys are leaning towards Arkansas, leaning to make a commitment, but they have not done it yet. Main question here going into this weekend, which is Sunday, they already had it really, is that can the Hogs turn momentum into commitments before the later June 4 stars arrive? Because, we're going to get, maybe we're going to have 4 weekends set up. So can we turn some of these leaners into commitments before some of these other, maybe the bigger 4-star players arrive? We'll see there. That's kind of our main question here that I've seen. Now, why this weekend matters, so look at this. So there are 4 straight official visit weekends, like I said. I think they have 14 recruits expected by Friday. I think that might have been 13. I don't know. It's hard, like I say, to get an official to figure out exactly who they are. We have 9 verbal commitments so far, like I said, but I only have 8. I think one of them was that tight end that has now decommitted. But this is the numbers that I could find online. I don't know if they were totally up to date. It's hard to get that stuff together. And then right now we're sitting at 34th nationally and 12th in the SEC, which you got to get better than that. If we want to get in the top 25. And so we got to get these guys committing and get them signed, when we can. Right here, I'm on this second line here. The timing is the story, right? This is a 4-day dead period. It just ended. Now the staff gets its first chance to stack official visits in Fayetteville. The class is still movable. 9 commitments, or 8, that's what I'm counting, is the actual starting point. It's not the finished product. We got to get a lot of guys. This weekend can reshape the board, though. If we can get some of these guys to commit, then you could, maybe you're looking hard at this position. Now you can move to this position, whatever that, Momentum matters. Several visitors that came in this weekend are described as Arkansas leans, which makes this a close the deal weekend, and it does. We want to close the deal on them if they're leaning towards us. And everything I've heard has been really positive and really good. Now, the big theme here at Checks Looks this weekend is that it's a skill-heavy weekend. This is not a trenches-only weekend. The visitor list leans heavily toward players who touch the ball or cover the players who do. And that's very important as well. Having those linemen, either offense or defense, are very important. They're the tip of the spear. But those guys that are the ones making all the plays are very important as well. You got to have both. Now, on offense, we had 2 running backs come in, 3 wide receivers, and over 3 offensive linemen. I think it was 3, maybe 4. I put 3 plus. On defense, we had 3 or 4. There's one defensive guy that was listed as a defensive back, which kind of says he's a linebacker right now. And I might have put him on the new linebacker / nickel target. So we had around 4 defensive backs visit. And we had a JUCO defensive tackle come in. Recruiting, we have several prospects that have had Arkansas momentum throughout spring. Our weekend goal is to convert these leaners into pledgers, commitments, Like I said, I've not heard any commitments yet, but I've heard everything was really good. This weekend could tell us what Ryan Silverfield wants this class to become, okay? For sure, Now, first position we're going to look at is running back. And this is talent versus roster math. You got to figure out how many can you take. So we got Asa Barnes. I'm going to break him down a little bit here next. He's from Tennessee. And Jeremiah Dent. Now, I've already done a video breakdown of him, so I'm not really going to break him down this time. Heck of a player. Now, but Dent's already committed to us. So Barnes is the name to watch here. His visit order is going to be in Arkansas this one, now then Florida State, USC, then he's going to end in Tennessee. So he also hinted at a commitment date could be near. He said that. I read that as I was searching him. So, and the roster math is tight here at running back because if you look at the numbers, we could have 5 backs returning in 2027. So you have Dent plus another high school back could project to 7. I don't know how many Arkansas wants or needs with this new staff. It's hard to tell. You need at least 3 to make it through a season. 7 may be a bit much. Now, you might be redshirting some of them. I don't know. They have to figure that out. But math gets tight there at running back. Why it still makes sense, in this portal area, you have to take the best available talent right now. Doubling up on 2 88 rated 3-stars with 4-star offer lists would raise the glass ceiling for sure. So, if you got a really talented guy like Asa Barnes, you want to take him. You don't want to turn him down, of course, Here, the narrative that I've been seeing is that Arkansas may be strapped for spots at running back, but not strapped for reasons to pursue talent. You try to stack wood, get as many good players as you can in there and then figure it out. Because you're going to have injuries, you're going to have people that commit, decommit, and all this and that. So you don't want to pass anybody up that is interested, that wants to come visit. If you think they're a good enough player, let's get them in here and let's see what happens, It'll eventually work itself out, I promise you. Now here's Asa Barnes. I'm I might have made this too big, but anyway, Asa Barnes, running back target to watch. He's a 27 running back from Westview High School in Martin, Tennessee. He's 5'11", 200 pounds, which is great size right there. 5'11", 200. He's an 88 three-star prospect, so really good rankings there, and it could come up during his senior year. What stands out about him on film is that he's a decisive downhill runner. He runs north and south quickly, okay, and I love that, especially when you're running these inside zone, you got to hit it, Contact balance. He runs through arm tackles and consistently fights for extra yardage. I love that. He's got a developed frame at 5'11". He can carry more weight. Already has the size to handle carries between the tackles. He does. Really good size. Receiving value, he can catch the ball out of the backfield and create matchup problems in space. Very important. That keeps those teams from just being able to blitz you like crazy. You send that running back out on a route and they got to cover him, so that takes one less that you can blitz with, sometimes two maybe if he's a really good one. Let me see. Short yardage reliability. He's a physical running style, gives him value near the goal line. Big physical back. Competitive versatility. Has also made plays on defense, including a pick six there. So a guy that, he's going to be offense. He's going to be a running back, but just shows you that he's a football player. Here's production, and I tried to look for 25. I found 24 here, sophomore season. And I could not find anything, I believe, on him. I can't remember. I did a lot of them here, and I can't remember exactly. But he had 812 rushing yards on 94 carries, which that was right at 9 yards per carry. That's a really good average there. Really good, almost a first down every time he touches it. He also had 16 catches for 221 receiving yards, and he had 25 total touchdowns, which is a bunch. But anyway, that was his sophomore season. I think it was him. I could not really find anything. It's hard to find stats, too, on these guys. Some schools don't post it yearly or whatever. It's hard to find it. You have to really look. So I can't remember. I think I just couldn't find anything on his junior year. All right, let's move on to wide receiver. So, we got three guys that came in this weekend. I think they did. Had Aiden Sterling, Eli Ferguson, and then Ashton Stark. Now, spring momentum at different points this spring. Arkansas could be viewed as the leader for all three. The question now is sequencing. How are we going to get them, right? How are we going to get them to commit? Pressure from later visits. 4-star wide receivers are scheduled later in June, so this group may need a clean weekend to lock in, so we got some big names coming, so, some of these guys, they may need to commit, or may not have room for them. So, here's how it kind of works. You have to visit and then have the fit, make sure it fits, everything looks good, and then they commit. So that's what we're trying to get that sequencing together here. My angle here on this is at least one wide out could pop, but Arkansas has to manage the board carefully. You can't have too many, too few. There's a such thing as too many wide receivers. Now, I have not broken down any of these guys yet on video. If they do commit, I will break them down with video and do a more in-depth breakdown of them. But here's Aiden Starling, and what I read about him is he's a polished route runner. He's a 27 wide receiver from Shadow Creek High School there in Texas. He's 6 foot, which is good. Receivers, a lot of times you want to be prototypes about 6'2", but at 6 foot, 175, he's an 86 3-star prospect. Now, when you see him on film, you see really good route running. He uses sharp cuts, good footwork to separate from the defensive backs. He shows patience and suddenness when attacking defensive backs, so he can get off the line there. 3-level receiving ability, very important. He can work the underneath, the intermediate, and he can go deep. Very important. I could not find a 40 time on him, though. I did on some of these others. Red zone value, has good footwork to create space in condensed areas. Is something I read, and I see him do some of that. Ball awareness, he tracks football and adjusts when the pass is not perfectly placed. That's very important to track that football and be able to go get it. Competitive edge, he plays with confidence and does not shy away from physical coverage. You see him, like I've talked about, he can get off the ball, catches the ball in traffic, So yeah, competitive edge there. His 2025 production, I did find it on him, was 31 catches for 405 yards and 7 touchdowns, which is about 13 yards per reception. And remember, this is their junior year, so a lot of times they may have guys in front of them that were the bell cow, and then as they get to be a senior, they'll have even better production, though. So you got to keep that in mind there. All right, Eli Ferguson is next. This guy is a playmaker. You know, he's from Brentwood Academy there in Tennessee. And Brentwood, Tennessee, I think, is where that is. And he's 5'11", 165, runs a 4.5 40, and he's an 86 three-star prospect. So kind of a little on the small side there, but that does not seem to bother Arkansas right now. This coaching staff, you see reliable hands, catches the ball really well away from his body, catches it with his hands. He has great quickness, has burst to create separation early in the route, really quick. He has really good body control. He adjusts to passes and can finish catches outside his frame, and that's real important. He does that. 5'11", I say, is not real little, but anyway, he needs to be able to catch the ball outside of his frame. All receivers need to be able to do that. Intermediate value, he can work in open areas and become a quarterback-friendly target. You know, kind of like they're just that guy the quarterback can rely on, get in the middle of the field, get open, you know, that security blanket. Run after catch ability. He has enough acceleration to create extra yardage in space. Alignment versatility, you could put him in the slot, move him outside, just depending on where the best matchup is for him. So he can line up anywhere. Has very good alignment versatility. His production, he had 30 catches for 600 yards, which gave him 4 touchdowns. So that was 20 yards per reception, which is eye-popping. You know, I said every time he touched that ball, he was getting basically 2 first downs. So that's really, really good there. Super good yards per catch there. Then you got Ashton Stark. He's just an explosive, all-purpose athlete. The way I kind of describe him in just one, in a phrase here. He is from Lutcher High School in Louisiana. I'm not familiar with that. I have not heard it pronounced. He's 5'10", 170, runs a 4.4 140. Boy, it's blazing speed. 87 three-star prospects. 87 here. He has verified speed. He has a lot of track production, and that confirms his explosiveness is legitimate. Okay, it's not just some made up that he clocked himself out there or one of his buddies did. I mean, you know, it is legit speed. Big playability. He can turn a crease or a missed tackle into a long touchdown. Had a lot of touchdowns this past season. Open field creativity. He's dangerous when given space to accelerate. He can go. Versatile usage, produces as a receiver and a runner. You know, they can put him in the backfield some, give him some jet sweeps and things like that. Two-way athleticism. He also makes plays in the secondary, which shows that he's a heck of a football player. He's got good IQ. He understands, you know, the FBI football intelligence. He has that for sure, and he has competitive toughness as well. He plays larger than his listed size. You know, he's aggressive. He gets after it. Explosive, really good player here. His production last season, he had 56 catches for 806 receiving yards. He also had 242 rushing yards. He had 15 total touchdowns this past season. He also on defense had 37 tackles and 4 interceptions. So you see, man, he's a playmaker. Once again, plays both ways, so that shows he should have good IQ, good football intelligence, you know, just a really good all-purpose athlete right there, Ashton Stark. Now we're going to go into the trenches, the commits plus key targets here. So first of all, we've already got committed who are on campus is Henry Frazier from Rogers, Arkansas. I have a breakdown of him. You can find it on my page, and I'm going to try to link them to this video too. And then Odafe Oruru, I practiced on his name, and I remember it was Oruru, I think. He's from Jinx, Oklahoma. I have both of them two video breakdowns on them. They are committed. Now, uncommitted was Jalen Hill. He was an offensive lineman from Lynette, Alabama. He's an 86 three-star offensive lineman. Then on the defensive side was where we brought in the JUCO, Christian Mays from Northeast Mississippi Community College. He's 6'4", 345, and he's a December graduate, so he would come in probably next January, which would be really good there. So May, we're talking about Christian Mays here. So Mays's visit path, he'll go to Arkansas first, then Tennessee, then Auburn, then Mississippi State. Those are his 4 visits. And that order matters. Arkansas gets a first chance to make the strongest impression, because then you're going to compare all of them to us, So we get that first chance to make that first impression, and hopefully it's a good one. I think I saw where he liked it. As a matter of fact, I know I did. I saw a picture. It seemed like he had 2 people with him. Maybe his mom and dad or something went with him. And so really it looked like he had a really good time there, of course, All right, so I'm going to break down Jalen Hill first. He's the offensive tackle, physical offensive tackle. He's from Lynette High School there in Alabama. He's 6'5", 295, 86 3-star prospect, and that's really good size there. I like that they get these guys that aren't quite so big. They're good height and weight. They can always add some weight, but and they should be able to move pretty good too, and that's what I see from Jalen Hill. What stands out at his frame, he's already close to 300 pounds before his senior high school season. Very good. Won't have to put a lot of weight on him. Don't have to get him to lose a lot of weight. He's right about where he needs to be. Finishing mentality, man. This guy looks to drive defenders out of the play instead of merely occupying them. He drives them out of there. Run blocking value. He projects into a physical rushing attack, and that's what Arkansas says they want to be. He's a physical rushing attack. He has tackle experience. He's taking snaps at both right and left tackle, which is very good, because if you can block out there by yourself, you can move inside and block in that kind of phone booth. It's easier when you move back inside. And I don't know whether projecting him really, whether he stays at tackle or inside. I don't think I looked at that there. I should have. Functional strength. He uses his size to generate movement at the point of attack. And he can move some people. He can move people when he comes off the ball. Developmental upside. He has the tools to become a dependable SEC tackle with continued refinement. And I left him at tackle, like I say, because they're talked about offensive tackle, but I didn't look at his 247. I did, but I did not write where they're projecting him at. So I kept him at tackle there, but I'm not for sure where they're really projecting him. His 225 production flash, they reported that he had 67 pancake blocks as a junior, so 67 pancake blocks. This guy's really aggressive, man. Like I said earlier, that he'll drive them out of the play and then put them on their back. He's really aggressive, and that's I like that a lot for sure. And then Christian Mays, he's the massive JUCO run stopper, 6'4", 345. He, like I say, is a December graduate. Will be here probably next January. If he does come to Arkansas, hopefully he will. If he's smart, he will. He has that rare big size. He brings legitimate nose tackle dimensions, run defense potential. He can become difficult to move at the point of attack. It's a big old guy, 6'4", 345. Block eating value, has the body type to demand attention from guards and centers. Okay, they're going to try to keep him from pushing the pocket, from getting in the backfield. Interior disruption. He recorded 5 tackles for loss during his freshman JUCO season. That's really good. A tackle for loss is what you want to do. You want to get them in long yardage situations where they have to throw it. Then it makes it easier on the defense. Immediate roster relevance. JUCO experience gives him a more realistic path to early snaps. He should have a lot of experience. He's ready to play as soon as he gets there. Just kind of a plug and play. Short yardage value, of course. He projects as a useful piece against power rushing attacks. That's something this past season we just ran out of players, didn't have enough. So, hey, you got to have a bunch of these big defensive tackles in there, I can guarantee you. His JUCO production in 25 as a freshman there at JUCO, he had 17 tackles, 5 for loss, 1 sack, and then 1 pass breakup. So, pretty good there. Really big guy, and you're almost getting him just take up space, take up blockers, and then let the other defensive linemen make plays, the linebackers, he's really in there wanting to take up space and take up blockers more than anything, but he can move too. But anyway. All right, now next up we're going to go to our defensive backs, back in the defensive backfield. And this is heavy momentum. A lot of these guys, you know, we've been torched the last couple of years with our secondary, so we need good secondary players. So here are the 4 we brought in. I have all a little bit of, I've not done any video breakdowns of this group yet, so I do have just real quick breakdowns on them. You have Dolph McDonald, cornerback from Mississippi, Brajon Melancon, a cornerback from Louisiana, Kamani Adams, cornerback from Georgia, and then London Goggins, a safety from Georgia. Why does this group matter? You know, Arkansas has carried momentum with all 4 of them throughout spring. This could become the most commit-ready defensive cluster of the weekend. And I haven't heard of commitments yet, but it's early. You know, they probably want to take their 4 visits and then see. I can understand that. If Arkansas wins the defensive back weekend, the class immediately gets faster, deeper, and more SEC ready on the back ends. These guys are all really good, really highly rated. And you know, I put on here, watch the body language. Return visits and spring momentum usually tell you where the staff feels the strongest. So, you know, you can see by what they're doing, who they're offering, who they're bringing in, these 2, 3, and 4 visits, and you can kind of see where they think they are. So, all right, first off, Dolph McDonald. He's a lengthy two-way playmaker. You know, we're going to look like we're getting him for defense, but anyway, he is from Morton High School there in Mississippi. He's 6'1", 160, 89, 3-star prospects. A really good ranking there, and 6'1", really good frame there. First off, outside corner length. You know, his 6'1" frame gives him developmental upside on the perimeter. His ball skills, his offensive experience should help him locate and attack the football. So if he plays a lot of receiver in high school, he should be able to catch the ball, can track it, locate it, understand routes, hopefully. Multi-position athleticism. He's taking snaps at defensive back, wide receiver, and some at quarterback. So you know this guy's got to understand the game pretty well. Playmaking ability, he can affect the game even when the football is placed in his hands on offense, which I think he's going to be on defense for us. That's what we're kind of recruiting him for, everything I've seen. His coverage upside, he has the physical tools to match up with larger SEC receivers. Yeah, at 6'1", now 160 is light, but he'll gain weight, but 6'1 is really good. Room to develop, he needs to add functional strengths, will be important before he's ready for a major college role. You know, just 160, that's pretty light. He does need to get up there a little bit closer to the 180 range, around there, and just keep getting bigger. Now, what I found, I just found offensive production. I didn't find anything on defense for him. I looked, but I just couldn't find anything. He had 609 receiving yards, 259 passing yards, 115 rushing yards. So just an all-around playmaker. He had 983 total yards in 8 recorded games. So really good playmaker there from Morton High School. All right, then Brajon Melancon. He's an explosive two-way athlete, another two-way player. Got a lot of these guys here. You see, that means they're probably the best athletes on their team, so the coaches want to keep them on the field. You know, so Braylon here is, he's from North Iberville High School in Louisiana. He's 6 foot, 165, and 88 3-star prospects. Another highly rated guy here. It's elite vertical explosiveness. It means he can jump. Now, I'm telling you, if you can jump, you can run, okay? So he recorded a 6'9" high jump and a 47 foot, 4.25 triple jump. You know, I don't remember triple jump. I never really did that in high school or anything. I don't know a whole lot about it. I never had a triple jumper when I coached track. So you know, it's hard to teach and everything. But I'm telling you right now, if you can jump, you can run, you're explosive. Ball production, intercepted 5 passes during his junior season. He scored 4 special teams touchdowns, so that's really good too. Special teams are super important. He produced 15 receiving touchdowns while also contributing heavily on defense. So, man, this guy's a playmaker big time. He finds ways to put himself around the football because I think he has that IQ. He understands offensive and defensive and understands where plays are going. He can diagnose things. He could project as a corner, a nickel defender, or any kind of movable defensive back. So very versatile where you could play him in the secondary. Would want to see him gain some weight, of course, at 165, but he will. He'll gain weight as he gets older. 2025 production here on offense, he had 40 catches for 775 yards and 15 touchdowns. On defense, he had 46 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, 5 interceptions, and 3 pass breakups. So really good there. And then the special teams, he had 3 kickoff return touchdowns and 1 punt return touchdown. Holy moly, that guy was doing everything but selling popcorn. So you see an explosive two-way athlete. You would love to have him as one of your defensive backs back there. Man, really good. Really like his profile there, his resume, I guess you'd say. All right, then we've got Kamani Adams here. He's an athletic outside corner. He's 6 foot 170. He's an 87 3-star prospect from Kell High School there in Georgia. He's listed at 6 feet, 170 pounds, and that's good frame. 170 pounds is good weight there, pretty good. Still like him, see him get a little bit bigger, around that 180 range or more. Outside corner potential. He has enough size to develop into a perimeter defender, because a lot of times that perimeter defender has to come up and make tackles in the running game and things like that. He's also played running back for Kell, so he's a really good athlete. He recorded an interception during his junior season, so that's really good. He can catch the ball. He's contributed in the return game as well. He holds a strong offer list that reflects his developmental upside. So he is getting a lot of recruiting interest that I've read and seen. He'll be a tough get, coming out of Georgia. But we've signed a lot of guys out of Georgia. Production last season, he had 18 tackles, 1 interception, and he had 94 return yards. So, if he's back here returning kicks and punts, that means the coaching staff, believes in him. They trust him, and that means he's a heck of an athlete. So, so Kamani Adams. All right, next up, we're going to get into the linebacker here, but he's listed as a linebacker. I'll explain it here. His name is Trenton McCorvey, and he's a new name I don't have on there. He's listed as a linebacker, but his projection is more of a modern nickel. He's 5'11", 195, and now his teammate here, Alabaster Thompson, teammate of Arkansas wide receiver commit Davion Mosley. And so they're recruiting McCorvey here too. And I think they're looking at him to be like a nickelback. He plays safety, carries linebacker labeling, so they've got him as a linebacker. But he played safety in high school and projects as a nickel. So he's a hybrid, right? And he's built for space, He's tackling space by himself. So you remember hybrid, it's a science term that we use a lot. Hybrid means you're not a dominant, you're not recessive, you're a mixture. So he's a mixture of a linebacker and a safety and a nickel and all that kind of stuff. He's a mixture. Why did Arkansas offer him? He's 5'11", 195. That's good size for a safety. Nickel types matter against spread offenses. They do. McCorvey gives the staff flexibility between safety, box defender, and slot coverage. He does. He gives you good size, and it appears to have the coverage ability, but that great size in there where he can help against the run and help cover as well. So, you need players like him in these modern spread offenses for sure. Now, and I didn't do an extra thing on him because I kind of talked about it there about what he does, but anyway, I was kind of shortening up right here. But anyway, my last slide here, I don't have any videos showing these guys. Like I say, as they commit, I'll do video breakdowns, do just a breakdown just on them only. What I'm watching after the visits here, what I'm watching this weekend is I'm watching the commitments. I have not seen any commitments yet, but it's still early. I mean, to me, they'd be dumb to commit right now, and Arkansas really couldn't unless they canceled all their other visits, and that may be telling them not to commit right now. You never know. Commitment watch. Does Asa Barnes or one of the wideouts move toward a public decision? So far, they have not. Number 2 is board management. Does Arkansas take an early wide receiver or save room for the later June 4-stars that they got coming in late June? And I'm reading this off the internet and stuff when I'm finding it, as I'm researching here. Defensive backs. We need a lot of defensive backs. I'm tired of seeing us get burned all the time. Can the Hogs turn spring momentum with corners into actual pledges? They got 3 or 4 really good ones there that I'd love to get any of them or all of them. So yeah, I would love to get them there. Number 4, Mays' first impression, the big defensive tackle from Mississippi, Northeast Mississippi Community College. Can Arkansas set the bar before Tennessee, Auburn, and Mississippi State get him? So we're trying to make that big first impression and kind of see what happens with him. He looked like he's having a good time. And number 5, class momentum. Does this weekend create the first real June surge for Ryan Silverfield? And it's June surge. We're not gotten to June yet, but hopefully the visits that they took Friday and maybe Saturday, I'm not for sure, but I know they were doing them Friday. Will we see benefits from that? Everything I've seen has been real positive. Everything's been really good. So hopefully we'll see some benefit from that in June coming up here. Now my closing line here, I don't have, like I said, I don't have any video. I think that's my last slide. It is. Since I've been going for a long time here. But anyway, this weekend may not finish the class, which it will not, but it can absolutely define the direction of it, and it will. If you start having commitments come in, that's going to change who you're going to, invite for the next weeks. Now, I'm saying that in that they probably already know that who's coming, but like I know one guy I saw on X right before I came on that he was planning on coming, but he canceled the visit to Arkansas because he committed to Georgia. So you may start seeing that, and those lists could change. You could always add. There's not a number that you can do. Bring as many as you want, I guess. But as you start to see guys committing, like if we get Asa Barnes, he commits at running back, that's probably enough. Probably don't need to try to recruit anymore, So you'll kind of check that out as it goes, and it will change the direction of the class. If we get some early guys that are committing. We haven't had that yet, but if we do, that definitely will change the class. But anyway, guys, that's all I got. I feel like I've been going for a long time. I usually time myself, but I was not on this one. But I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it gives you some names and kind of see what Arkansas is looking at. And like I say, when they commit, I'll do a full breakdown on them and really show you some video of them, let you see them, see what they look like. But right now, if they're just visiting, I just kind of overview, and I'm gonna try to link up the ones that visited. But I tell you, all you gotta do is just search their names. If you want to see them, search their names on my YouTube page there, The Great Puckatini, and you'll find them. Those 8 guys have already committed, and I do full video breakdowns on them, and I think you'll really like it. But anyway, that's all I got. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you liked it. A little bit different from what I've been doing. And if you did like it, I ask that you please hit that thumbs up button and then subscribe to my channel. And leave me some messages on these guys. I just did a really brief overview on them. It's hard to break down that many, and really do a really good job of it. But anyway, if you know anything about them, leave me some news on them. Leave me some intel. What have you heard anything? Do you know them? All that. What do you think about them? But anyway, leave me a message, and then make sure you have your notifications turned on. That way, when I make a new video, you'll get a notification of it. You can come watch it, and I'd love to have you come back. Love to have you be a subscriber and come back every day and leave me a message. Tell me what you think. Let's get some conversation started here, and I love that. I love talking football and everything. It's really a lot of fun. But anyway, that's all I got. I'm gonna cut it right here. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please come back more. Please keep coming back, and let's talk some ball and see and help those Arkansas Razorbacks win some games, right? But anyway, that's all I got. Thank you so much for spending time with me. Thanks for watching and spending time with me. And anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. That's all I got. Hope you have a great day, a great weekend, whenever you're watching this. And how am I going to get this off here? Do I have to click over here? Yep, right there. All right, so I'm back on my list of commitments already. But anyway, that's all I got. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day. Have a great evening whenever you're watching this. And as always, go Hogs.